8:45. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Lavani Chetunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Chief Prelate of the Kote, Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha states that President is the sole leader capable of rebuilding Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister states that the district secretaries are responsible for accelerating the government's development programs. China's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs calls on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Beijing. The Advanced Level Examination Evaluation Phase 2 begins. The government to provide financial subsidy for purchase of fertilizer. A book written over the war in the north and the east by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca launched at Nelumpokuna Theatre in Colombo. A 15-hour water cut in Colombo tomorrow. In news overseas, unimaginable devastation seen inside Khan Yunis, the southern Gaza city, once a safe haven for the displaced. And in sports news, one of the world's oldest interclub golf tournaments, the Burdett Trophy and the 87th Puffin Cup, to take place in Nuwara Eliya. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. The Chief Prelate of the Kote, Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, and the Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Agamaha Pandita, Most Venerable Dr. Ittapane Dhammalankara Mahanayaka Thera stated that President Ranil Wickremesinghe is a sole leader capable of rebuilding Sri Lanka's economy and advancing the nation. The Mahanayaka Thera emphasized that the President's program merits the blessings of the entire Mahasangha. The Mahanayaka Thera made these remarks during President Wickremesinghe's visit to Rukmale Sri Dharma Vijayaloka Mahavihara, Kottava last evening. Upon arriving at the temple, President Wickremesinghe first participated in religious rituals to receive blessings. He then visited the Mahanayaka Thera, inquiring about his health and engaging in a cordial discussion. Additionally, the President reviewed the temple's development activities. During the conversation, President Wickremesinghe updated the Mahanayaka Thera on the current economic and financial progress in Sri Lanka. The President stressed the need to steer the country in a new path to prevent future crises, committing to work dedicatedly towards the goal in the coming years. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena stated that while participating in a special meeting held at the Ministry of Home Affairs to review the progress of the decentralized budget program implemented throughout the island, that the district secretaries are responsible for accelerating the government's special development programs, Urumaya and the Kandukara Dashakaya. The total number of projects in the decentralized budget program is 33,362 and the allocated amount is 11,250 million rupees. The total amount of money that has already been released for the district is 11,022 million rupees and it is a 97.98%. The remaining allocation to be released is 227 million rupees. China's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sun Wudong, called on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Beijing, recalling President Xi Jinping's historic visit to Sri Lanka during the presidency of Mahinda Rajapaksa in the year 2014. Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs called on him as an old friend of China. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa left for China yesterday on a 4-day visit. The former president and his delegation is visiting China on a special invitation from the Chinese government. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, Mahinda Amaravira, instructed AMHL Aberatna, the Commissioner General of Department of Agrarian Development, to provide financial assistance to fertilizer subsidy for the paddy farmers. In crediting the fertilizer subsidy money to the farmers' accounts, it has been found that some paddy owners change their farmers depending on each crop season, so that there are some delays in disbursing the fertilizer subsidy. A book written on the war in the north and the east by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca was launched at Nelumpokuna Theatre in Colombo today. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was the chief guest at the occasion that was sponsored by the Army. Originally written in Sinhala, the book will be printed and distributed by Sarasavi Publishers. It is translated to English as Army Commander's Promise to the Nation, I shall not leave this war behind to the next commander. The former Army Commander said that it will give a clear picture on the war. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Chief Prelate of the Kote, Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha states the President is the sole leader capable of rebuilding Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister states that the district secretaries are responsible for accelerating the government's development programs. China's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs calls on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Beijing. The Advanced Level Examination Evaluation Phase 2 begins. The government to provide financial subsidy for purchase of fertilizer. A book written on the war in the north and the east by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca launched at Nilimpokana Theatre in Colombo. A 15-hour water cut in Colombo tomorrow. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, the second round of the evaluation of the answer sheets for the GC Advanced Level Examination commenced today. The Department of Examination said that roughly 80% of the initial marking process is already complete. The Department of Examinations added that the evaluation process will be conducted in the same locations for the next 10 days. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Washlight, the residents in Colombo are set to experience a 15-hour water cut tomorrow as the National Water Supply and Drainage Board announced that the water supply to several areas in the city will be suspended. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board announced that there will be a water cut in Colombo, Degivala, Mount Lavinia, Kote, Kaduvala, Maharagama, Burlaskamu, Kolanawa, Kotikawata and Mulleriava. The water cut will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow and last until midnight. According to the Water Board, the water cut is necessary as part of the ongoing essential maintenance work under the Amathale water supply system. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has advised the residents in the affected areas to make necessary arrangements to store water during the water cut period. And further, it has requested the cooperation of the public to conserve the water during and after the water cut. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news: unimaginable devastation seen inside Khan Yunis, the southern Gaza city once safe haven for the displaced. Iranians vote in presidential election with limited choices. Democrats backed into the corner over Biden's performance. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. At least 5 Palestinians, including a girl, were killed in overnight Israeli attacks on 2 houses near Deir al-Balah. Gaza Civil Defense says 3 of the medics were killed by Israeli aircraft and 12 others were wounded while they carried out the rescue efforts in the Sedra Buruji refugee camp. Footage from an Israeli attack on the Sahuya neighborhood of Gaza City shows Palestinian civilians, mostly women and children, fleeing a barrage of Israeli military bombs on Thursday. Mounds of trash rotting in the heat are piling up close to where displaced people are sheltering in Gaza, a UN official has said, raising fears about further spread of disease. Iranians voted on Friday for a new president following the death of Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash, choosing from a tightly controlled group of 4 candidates loyal to the supreme leader at the time of growing public frustration and Western pressure. The election coincides with the escalating regional tension due to the war between Israel and Iran's allies Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as increased Western pressure on Iran over its fast advancing nuclear program. While the election is unlikely to bring a major shift in the Islamic Republic's policies, its outcome could influence a succession to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's 85-year-old supreme leader in power since 1989. Joe Biden's campaign was prepared to come out swinging after the debate against Donald Trump. Instead, they were backed into a corner. Campaign stop surrogates wound up pinned at one end of the debate spin room by a mob of reporters on Thursday night, fielding questions about ousting the incumbent at the top of the ticket, whether tonight's performance fueled more concerns about his fitness for office. It was not the conversation the Democrats hoped to have after the debate, but Mr. Biden's subdued performance during the 90-minute event, during which he sometimes stumbled through answers and spoke with coal-induced rasp, sent Democrats into an immediate panic as they were pressed on how his campaign would recover. And that was world news.
Development news.
The new electricity bill that was passed in Parliament 3 weeks ago was endorsed by Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena yesterday. The new Electricity Act comes into effect from 27th of June. The Sri Lanka Electricity Bill was passed by a majority of 44 votes following a debate held in the Parliament on the 6th of June. This bill was presented to the Parliament on the 25th of April and aims to make necessary arrangements for reforms in the electricity sector. And that was the development news.
Moving on with sports news.
One of the world's oldest interclub golf tournaments, the 12th 121st Burdett Trophy and the 87th Puffin Cup, will take place on the 6th of July in Nuwara Eliya Golf Club. The Burdett Trophy will feature 4 four-some matches in the morning, followed by 8 single matches in the afternoon. The Puffin Cup will include 4 four-some matches in the morning and 4 single matches in the afternoon. The Burdett Trophy, launched in the year 1902, is celebrated globally as one of the oldest interclub golf tournaments. The Royal Golf Club Colombo, established in the year 1879, and the Nuwara Eliya Golf Club, founded in 1889, bring over a century of competitive history to this prestigious event. That is sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's reform agenda continues to garner positive attention globally, highlighted by the recent achievement of finalizing long-awaited debt restructuring deals with the Official Creditor Committee and China. This success has sparked keen interest among international businesses to explore opportunities in the island nation. Acting Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Katsuki Kotaro, confirmed yesterday an increasing interest among Japanese businesses in entering Sri Lanka. Addressing the Asia Logistics Forum in Colombo yesterday, Kotaro said, as this IMF program and the debt restructuring is moving forward, we are welcoming many more business people and think that they are all aware that something nice is around the corner. Moreover, he said last week alone he had been greeting many Japanese delegations who are flying into Sri Lanka, and they are willing to be part of the discussion. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, the Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Mizukoshi Hideki, said that Japan will promptly resume its projects in Sri Lanka that were previously halted once the related MOUs are signed. During a media conference held in Colombo today, Ambassador Hideki stated that Sri Lanka has expressed its appreciation for the debt restructuring agreements signed with bilateral creditors. After the memorandums of understanding related to these agreements are signed, Japan will promptly resume its halted projects in Sri Lanka. The ambassador also mentioned that Japan will provide continuous support for the recovery of Sri Lanka's economy. That was economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department has issued a warning for strong winds and rough seas. Very strong winds about 80 km per hour and very rough seas are likely over the Arabian Sea area due to the active southwest monsoonal condition. The Met Department forecasts several spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabragamua and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Matara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Ua province and in the Ampara and Batikula districts in the evening or at night. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The chief prelate of the Kote Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha states the president is the sole leader capable of rebuilding Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister states that the district secretaries are responsible for accelerating the government's development programs. China's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs calls on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Beijing. The advanced level examination evaluation phase 2 begins. The government to provide financial subsidy for purchase of fertilizers. A book written on the war in the North and the East by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca launched at Nelumpokana Theatre in Colombo. A 15-hour water cut in Colombo tomorrow. In news overseas, unimaginable devastation seen inside Khan Yunis, the southern Gaza city, once a safe haven for the displaced. And in sports news, one of the world's oldest interclub golf tournaments, the Bharat Trophy and the 87th Puffin Cup, to take place in Nuwara area. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news, and now it's back to Saudi Thavam, your Friday evening host, who is all smiles on the other side of the glass panel, just waiting to get along with all your dedications and requests.
Thank you very much, Lavani. And when you talk of smiles, well, a smile is certainly infectious across the glass pane, isn't it, instead of a frown? All right, and let me wish you a safe trip back. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.
Look at you, driving, listening to the radio, drinking your coffee, talking on your phone. You could use another distraction.
The world's most beautiful music for the world's best listeners.
This is Radio
Sri Lanka.
That's right, you're with Radio Sri Lanka, and it's going to be the world's best music for the world's best listeners. It's going to be family choice, and you're more than welcome to give the studio call on our studio hotline 2694316 for your request, dedications and greetings tonight if you haven't done it already. I'm all set and ready for takeoff, and I hope you are ready as well to keep me company. And our very first radio call tonight goes out to Colombo 3, where we say hello and a very good evening to Relina Samsudeen, who's by her radio, and also greetings going out to her daughter Shakila. So I hope you're going to enjoy this, both of you. And we haven't forgotten Mohammed Fulail, Rubina, Yusra, Farhaza, and Yunus Fulail tuned in from Colombo 10.